Right now, you probably think of sleep as one long block. You close your eyes, you wake up. 8 hours gone. That is just how sleep works. Right? Wrong. For almost all of human history, nobody slept that way. Not a single person on Earth slept in one long, unbroken block until about 200 years ago. Before the Industrial Revolution, before artificial light, before alarm clocks, humans all over the world slept in two separate parts. And what they did in between changed everything we think we know about the human mind. This is not a theory. This is not speculation. This is one of the most documented and researched discoveries in the history of sleep science, and almost nobody knows about it. Let's go back. Not 100,000 years, not even 10,000 years, just 300 years. To a world before electricity existed. When the sun went down, it was dark. Not dim, not slightly dark. Completely, totally, absolutely dark. No streetlights, no phone screens, no candles for most people. Nothing. So humans went to sleep when the sun set, around 8 or 9 in the evening. They slept for roughly 4 hours. Then they woke up. Not because something disturbed them, not because they were sick, not because of noise. They just woke up, naturally, completely, in the middle of the night. Historians call this the first sleep, and what came after it they called the watch or the wakeful period. For 1 to 2 hours, sometimes longer, ancient and medieval humans were simply awake in the middle of the night. And here is the part that will change how you think about yourself. They did not lie there panicking about being awake. They did not check their phones. They did not worry about being tired tomorrow. They used that time. Historian Roger Ekirch spent 16 years researching this phenomenon. He found over 500 references to segmented sleep in historical documents, diaries, medical texts, court records, and literature from across the ancient and medieval world. People from Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Americas, all describing the same pattern. First sleep, waking period. Second sleep. It was not insomnia. It was just how humans slept. So, what did they actually do during that middle-of-the-night waking period? The answer is remarkable. Some of them prayed. Medieval Christians believed the wakeful period between first and second sleep was a sacred time. A time when the boundary between the human world and the divine world was thinnest. They prayed, they meditated, they reflected on their dreams from the first sleep. Some of them talked. Couples used this time to have the conversations they could not have during the busy day. Historical records show that some of the most important family decisions, arguments, reconciliations, and intimate conversations happened in that dark, quiet hour between first and second sleep. Some of them visited neighbors. In medieval villages, it was completely normal to knock on a neighbor's door at midnight. Not as an emergency, just as a visit, because everyone was awake at the same time, in the middle of the night, every single night. Some of them created, writers wrote, artists thought, inventors solved problems that had defeated them during the day. And science now tells us exactly why. During the wakeful period between first and second sleep, the human brain enters a unique neurological state. Not fully awake, not asleep, something in between. Researchers call it hypnagogic consciousness, a state where the analytical left brain quiets down and the creative right brain takes over. The same state that Thomas Edison deliberately induced by napping in a chair holding steel balls in his hands. When he fell asleep, the balls would drop, the noise would wake him, and he would immediately write down whatever his half-asleep mind had been thinking. Because he knew the ideas that came in that in-between state were unlike anything his fully awake mind could produce. Ancient humans experienced this state naturally, every single night, for hours. They did not know what it was called, but they knew it felt different. Medieval literature is full of references to the strange clarity of thought that came in the hours between first and second sleep. Dreams were remembered more vividly. Solutions appeared from nowhere. Emotions were processed in ways that daylight hours never allowed. And then something happened that destroyed all of it. In 1667, the city of Paris became the first city in the world to install street lighting, gas lamps, then oil lamps, then electric lights. Slowly, over the next 2 centuries, the night stopped being dark. And when the night stopped being dark, humans stopped waking up in the middle of it. Because the wakeful period between first and second sleep was triggered by darkness. Complete, total, unbroken darkness. The moment artificial light entered the night, the biological signal that woke humans up in the middle of their sleep was disrupted. By the late 1800s, the two-part sleep pattern had almost completely disappeared from industrialized societies. Nobody talked about it. Nobody mourned it. Nobody even noticed it was gone, because it happened so gradually that each generation simply assumed one long, unbroken sleep was normal. But your body still remembers. Sleep researchers have found that when modern humans are placed in environments with no artificial light for several weeks, they naturally return to two-part sleep within days. First sleep, wakeful period. Second sleep, every time, without being told, without reading about it, without any instruction at all. Because it is not a habit. It is not a cultural practice. It is biology. In 1992, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr conducted an experiment where he removed all artificial light from participants for 14 hours each night for 1 month. Within the first week, they all began waking up naturally in the middle of the night. And during that wakeful period, their brains showed something extraordinary. Elevated levels of prolactin, a hormone associated with deep relaxation, dreaming states, and a profound sense of calm unlike anything experienced during normal waking hours. Participants described the feeling as peaceful, meditative, and deeply restful. Not anxious, not frustrated, not worried about sleep, just quietly, profoundly awake in the dark. This is what humans felt every single night for hundreds of thousands of years. And modern humans have never felt it once, because we eliminated the darkness that made it possible. Now here is what this means for you. If you wake up in the middle of the night and cannot go back to sleep, modern medicine calls it insomnia. It prescribes pills. It recommends therapy. It treats it as a disorder. But your ancient body is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. It is waking up for the watch. It is looking for the quiet, creative, sacred in-between hours that your ancestors used every single night to pray, to think, to talk, to create, to simply exist in the dark. The problem is not that you are waking up. The problem is that when you wake up, you reach for your phone. You flood your eyes with blue light. You tell your brain it is daytime. You destroy the hypnagogic state before it can begin. And you lose the one thing your ancient mind was trying to give you: 2 hours of quiet, creative darkness in the middle of every night. We did not evolve to sleep in one long block. We evolved to wake up in the middle of the night and do something with the silence. The question is not why you cannot sleep through the night. The question is what you are going to do with the hours when your ancient body wakes you up and hands you the dark.